And you can see how it's really an obituary. It's really for when I die after a few months. So it's really for when I die after a few months. Dr. Dar is going to say that she had no idea what was going on because the patient just said he had a myriad of symptoms, and the patient never told her what was going on, and the patient just said he had a myriad of symptoms. And then she also says that, okay, so then she says the patient's complaints were not overlooked as suggested in the letter. What do you mean overlooked? I didn't say they were overlooked, Dar. I said you were committing fraud, you lying bitch. I said you were committing fraud and malicious acts, not about overlooking nothing. You lying bitch. I'm accusing you of fraud and malicious conduct, not overlooking shit. Okay? And so then we go to the next statement. All the previous records were requested to be received for a cardiology evaluation. But she didn't request any of my records to be released. You lying bitch, Dr. Dar. The records that I asked for, I had to finally somehow get a few pieces from that doctor who did the vascular exam of the arms and chest, and he still didn't release the full thing. That's what I wanted, Dr. Dar. I wanted the full thing. You still didn't get that for me. And I got it, and even what I gave you, you didn't put into my records. And then to be received for a cardiology evaluation to explore which the diagnosis and consequently the treatment. Now, this Renee, she says that she doesn't know. Renee, you're such a liar. You told me that you didn't even know. Renee told me that she didn't even know that this was a new complaint. But obviously, if you listen to her, how she says, right, you can listen to the intonation of her voice. So she's really doing the dirty work for Dr. Dar. So you say, so if you listen in, you hear that Renee reads it as a statement, just really fast, okay? But when she comes to the critical point to save Dr. Dar's butt for a malpractice case, watch this. Then she says, so when she says the part to explore which the diagnosis and consequently the treatment. So in that part, Renee, who's reading it as a really quick statement, like a disclaimer at the end of some commercial or something, all of a sudden she slows down. So, and not only does she slow down and talk about, so she slows down with that part, and so she goes, a cardiology evaluation to explore which the diagnosis. So there she really slows it down and uses extra emphasis, and then consequently the treatment. So you can see, and consequently then she pauses a long time, the treatment. Voila! Dr. Dar is going to get me a treatment. This lying bitch, Dr. Dar, she's going to get me consequently the treatment. Dr. Dar had no fucking intention of getting me any treatment. Dr. Dar was trying to kill me the whole way through. That fucking bitch, Dr. Dar. But if you listen to Renee, who acts like she doesn't know what's going on, she goes to explore which the diagnosis and consequently the treatment. So it's like, wow, look at that. Dr. Dar is going to consequently the treatment. So for someone who's just reading a statement really fast, all of a sudden she's putting she's extending certain parts of the statement, and she's putting the intonation at the right points just to help her nasty Dr. Dar. And then it says, the patient did ask for the disability form to be filled out at the end of the visit. He was informed that I could not fill out the form for a lack of adequate medical information at the time. Now, obviously, I told Dr. Dar, right? You know the story. I didn't give it to her at the end. It was stapled to the end of the package. And she actually, when she looked through the paper, she got it like somewhere halfway through the visit. And I'm the one who told her that she just has to keep it with her in the file. And down the road, this thought was actually my thought that, when we get, no, actually, we do have adequate information to fill it out, Dr. Dar. What I told her is, let's get some more from the cardiologist and then fill it out. So when she lies and says you do have adequate information to fill out. And also, I was the one who said to hold it off for a later time and after the cardiologist to get more information. But actually she told me that she will never do it for me. Obviously we know why. Because the disability form is not about just getting disability payments, right? Dr. Dar has to tell the truth on that. So if she's lying her ass off on the medical records, then how can she write that the patient has some problem on the disability? So Dr. Dar, you were never going to write this out for me because you lied on the medical records. You never had any intention of being truthful anywhere. So here's the funny thing. At the end of the letter, here's the last statement. There was no follow-up after the initial visit. Okay? There was no follow-up after the initial visit. So see, here she put the same kind of statement towards the beginning too. So you see, what they say is, now we all know the story. Dr. Dar abused the patient, and no wonder the patient didn't go back to her, right? It makes sense. And that's basically all the complaints I sent to Medstar. But at the same time, now she's claiming, now because after the patient dies, so now she can say that, so she's putting it in two times that, well, he only came to me for one visit, and it's, she's pointing it out in two different times. But she's not pointing out that because she abused the patient is why the patient didn't go back to her, right? So, yeah. And then it shows, then there's a final statement. His concerns were not overlooked as he may have suggested. So anyway, this letter is strictly, this is my obituary, okay? Dr. Dar basically wrote this sheet because really she didn't give this reply to the first complaint, and she really didn't give it to the second complaint either. But with the second complaint, the complaint about Dr. OK contained that really horrible looking stress EKG, and she knows that the patient is going to die within months, and she has a lot of responsibility. So she wrote this letter, and it was Medstar's job to take action against doctors or others who are harming this patient, right? So Medstar, you're my guardian. You're not supposed to, so the people who harm me, you're supposed to go after them, Medstar. You're not supposed to go and do their dirty work, including if it's your own doctor. Now, Medstar, I want you to go ahead, and it's very important, Medstar. You need to, first of all, give me the same level of service that you gave your nasty Dr. Dar. That you need to get a risk management team. I like to have some, and the legal. So, okay, so go ahead and get me a risk management team, legal. Let me have some medical experts, a nurse practitioner, someone who's like a medical expert witness. Let me have some legal, some attorneys. Let me get some medical doctors from Medstar, some cardiologists. Okay, let's get together in a team and let's figure out everything that's going on. So why don't you do that for me? So let me get that, and as a team, let's also figure out, what all Dr. OK did wrong, and whether even though he's maybe not your provider, who really cares? You're my guardian. It's not just about so you can take action against anyone who is harming your patient, since you are the guardian. So I want you to let's use this team. Let's find out what's going on with my condition. Let's find out what all Dr. OK did wrong. Let's go ahead and send the appropriate complaints to the appropriate agencies. Let's go ahead and ban Dr. OK from ever participating with Medstar anywhere. Let's go ahead and as Medstar family choice, go ahead and revoke Dr. Dar. So Dr. Dar should never again get any payment from Medstar family choice. Then also, since you are part of Medstar, go ahead and file a, make sure that Medstar itself fires Dr. Dar. And then let's go ahead and make sure this information is sent to the proper agencies, so she also gets punished. Then let's also find out if anybody else at Medstar is involved in harming me. Okay, let's find out if Dr. Dar was the only one, or is there somebody else? See, because this pervert, Dr. Cochran from Innova, this pig, he was interfering with my medical treatment long before I got to Medstar. So I'm thinking he already contacted some buddies at Medstar. So let's find out who else is responsible. So let's investigate. So let's use this team to help me and investigate. And let's punish whoever needs to be punished. And now this is the investigative portion, okay? And this is also the portion helping me understand my condition. All this you have duties to do. Then the other portion, what I want is, since none of your doctors are willing to treat me, I want you to go to a West Coast cardiologist. And now this is not too much. This is only a burden because you all have created the situation. So I want you to go ahead and contract with a cardiologist from the West Coast. You have to pay that cardiologist enough, and that could mean at least $1 million a year. Okay, so it may take $1 million you have to pay this cardiologist, who basically is going to live and work on the West Coast, but is going to get a license in Maryland or DC just for the purpose of taking care of me. So that cardiologist is going to direct my care, and that cardiologist is going to be so prominent and preeminent in his field that he's going to come down here. And so he's going to direct my care, and probably most of the time he can just direct it from wherever he is. He doesn't have to be actually, with me directly in person. But but he should get the things going, and that cardiologist should have the authority to tell your other cardiologists here what to do. So what's going to happen is that cardiologist is going to evaluate me initially here at a Medstar facility after he gets his license in Maryland or DC. And then after that, if there's any kind of surgery, that cardiologist is going to perform it either here or on the West Coast. And then any kind of follow-up care, it's going to be done through maybe a Medstar cardiologist or your hospital, and maybe this other cardiologist stays back in California or Washington or Texas or wherever. And at that point, that cardiologist can direct the issues remotely. But we know very well what's going on. Innova is a big monopoly. I can't get care from them, and they have interfered with my care with all other providers. And now Medstar also has done the same thing. And so Medstar is not incapable of providing care, which was basically simple care, right? I mean, we're talking about, with Dr. Dar, all the issue was the basic medical exam. I mean, that's like $50 at a veterinarian. Isn't that how much it costs? It's like $50 at a veterinarian. It's probably something where it's done on a charity basis. A doctor's going to some other countries and they do it for free. That kind of stuff. So that kind of simple stuff, you all did it in a wrong way to cause harm. And let me continue later.